So I want to start today's conversation, or rather monologue, off with a few definitions. All right. Now I'm going to be giving you definitions or explanations to three seemingly unrelated fields. But in the spirit of connectivity, I will do my best to try to form a beautiful braid as I move along and tell this story. So the first definition that I want to go over is it's a microbiological term. It's called inoculating. It's when you introduce an organism to an environment, to an ideal environment, so that it could just grow um, sufficiently. You provide it with enough nutrients so that it can be studied. You know, think ideal environmental conditions for growth. All right. All right. The second term I want to define is apparent wind. Think of it as it's a nautical term. Think of it as when the boat you're sailing in is moving in the same direction of the wind, but it's moving faster than the wind is moving. That resistance that you feel is apparent wind. It feels like resistance, it feels like true wind or normal wind, but it's not. It's just that you're moving faster than the wind that's pushing you in the same direction. All right. Now, the third term is much easier to define. It's a math term, or two math terms to be more precise. So there's subtraction, and then there's adding negatively. Right? When you subtract, you take something away. It's gone. You lose it. But when you add negatively, it gets absorbed. You embrace it. Right? So those are the three terms. Now, I'm going to try to weave them together and kind of form a confluence. Since we're talking nautical terms, let's keep it centered around water. I'm gonna form a confluence of a particular idea that I'm trying to summarize. So, how do these things relate? Right? So, I'm going to use social media as an example. Um, I think everyone pretty much is on social media these days, right? And it is in our nature to compare ourselves to other people. Sometimes we compare ourselves to people of a similar age, and then we can sometimes, we can start to feel feelings of inadequacy if we're not living up to a certain standard that we see from other people. But a lot of times, the things that we see on these social media platforms are highlight reels from the lives of other people, and we're unfairly comparing our regular day-to-day lives to the highlight reels of other people's lives, right? So it's kind of like I used to play basketball, and I still try to stay in shape. But I remember when I was trying to go to a college of my choosing, I would put together uh, clips from the best games I've ever had, and I would send that off to these schools in hopes that I would get a scholarship. It's the highlight reels. It doesn't make sense when you think about it to show others the worst of yourself, especially not in an age where, in a time where we're so judgmental. We're holding other people and sometimes ourselves to unrealistic standards, right? So how does this all make sense when it comes to social media? Well, I think the thing that's happening is that we are adding negatively by inoculating ourselves with lies that are, what's the word? Lies that are disguised as apparent truths. It looks like it's the truth. It feels like it's the truth, but it's a lie. We inject ourselves, we inoculate ourselves with these negative thoughts of inadequacy, of not being enough. They feel real. They instill certain emotional reactions when you're inoculating yourself with these negative thoughts. but they're not the truth. They are lies, the lies that we tell ourselves. Which brings another question to mind. Who or what is the bearer of your lies? Who or what is the bearer of your lies? I think that's something that I think would be beneficial if we all ask ourselves, what are we choosing to inoculate ourselves with? What negative additions are we adding? And we're giving these negative thoughts, these negative emotions, the chance to exponentiate, to grow, to manifest, because the ideal emotional environment lies within us. We are damaging ourselves, right? Who is the bearer of your lies? Is it you? Is it something you see on your phone? Is it family? I don't know. I think that it's different for everyone. But I think that we all have a bearer of lies somewhere in our lives that is keeping us from thinking the dopest of thoughts and reminds us that we should think dumb thoughts, right? So I like to try and exist in a realm where I only think the dopest of thoughts, right? I don't like the idea of thinking thoughts that are not beneficial to the goal at hand, whatever that goal may be. I consider those dumb thoughts. So I want to end it with this last little saying. Let's stop thinking about dumb shit and start thinking about dope shit. Right? Let's try it.